Howdy everybody, we have a new champagne to talk about. This is the J. Vignier Aux Origines Blanc de Blanc from 2014 and 2015 from the Côte de Sézanne. I did a little bit of a write-up a little bit ago, so I'll read from that and hopefully you'll find it informative as we go. So the J. Vignier is a relatively new brand. So this was pretty much begun by Nathalie Vignier in 2007-2008 as kind of her way of making a mark on what the previous generations have done. Her grandfather was Paul Lebrun of Paul Lebrun Champagne, beloved by many a generation of Americans. And the fun thing about this one is the Vignier and Lebrun family has been in Champagne for 10 generations and the Côte de Blanc for 6. I have not been any place for 6 generations, and I'm not sure if you have either, but that sounds like a weight of history to say the least. The fun thing that we like about it is there's still a sense of play, the sense of let's make something interesting with the time that we are allotted within that stretch of generations. Basically, when Nathalie took over from her father, they had all of 40 acres of entirely Chardonnay, mostly in the Côte de Blanc, and then also a little bit in the Côte de Sézanne, which if you look at a map is about 50 miles due south of Epernay. And it has the same soil as what you're going to find in the Côte de Blanc, but it is separated by a series of marshlands, so it is literally a land apart. Nathalie's father, Jean, told her that there are hidden treasures among all their vines, and this labels effectively their way of looking and finding those hidden treasure, those single sites, those bits of terroir that stand above the rest. She is doing that with her family friend, Sebastian Nickel, and they are kind of working together, literally hand in hand, from the fields to enology to talk about, is this site better than this site? Is this blend better than this blend? It is one of those where, as I said, they've been doing this since about 2007. They don't use herbicides or pesticides. They do plow, kind of to get a little bit of aeration in the soil and to let ground cover as well as flowers and herbs exist to really help the microflora and fauna kind of come forth. That bottle that I showed you earlier, the Aux Origines, translates to roughly to where it all began. It is from the La Semart vineyard site, and it was planted actually in the 1960s with cuttings from the Vignier family holdings north in the Côte de Blanc by Nathalie's grandparents Marie-Louise and Paul. Basically, the Côte de Sézanne only really became part of Champagne in the 1960s. Before that, it was kind of considered a land apart. But as I said, the soil was there. It was between the gap of the Côte de Blanc and then, 100 miles south in the Aube. So it is still in the Champagne district. It just wasn't recognized as Champagne before that point in time. Now, the bottle we have for you, and we'll get to tasting, you're almost there, is basically 85% 2014 and about 15% 2015. It was fermented on its lees for about 40 months before disgorged in 2019 with about 5 grams of dosage. And that dosage was sugarcane as opposed to like rectified grape must. The nose, and we'll get to that, is one of those where we really enjoy that little bit of warmth that the Côte de Sézanne has to offer. It is not quite as marginal as you're going to get in the Côte de Blanc. So you get that nice kind of a tree fruit, so like pear and apple. There's also a little bit of like a light triscuit note, so there's a little bit of autolysis and cream, but it's more towards like a little bit of toast. And there's also just a really nice seam of minerality running through the entire wine. On the palate, you do get that light, incisive cut of minerality coming through from that flinty, white, chalky soil. But you also do get some really nice kind of like apple and white pear, and those are just very clean, light, focused, and to the precise note. It has a really nice mousse to it. I think you can taste that this was not made on a Monday and sold on a Friday, if you will, so much as it was designed for long-term enjoyment. I think that this is one that we will probably not have for very long. We were only able to get about 24 cases, and I suspect this will probably go away before too long. I'm enjoying, and I hope you do too. Stay safe, cheers, and have some champagne.